The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meat, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
When was the last time you had really good Texas-style barbecue? Eric's Family Barbecue, the way it's supposed to taste. Always delicious, never rushed, and prepared to perfection. Eric's Family Barbecue uses only 100% fresh meat, slowly smoked over mesquite wood until it's juicy and delicious. We all know their brisket is the best, but have you tried their pulled pork ribs, or rib tips? Amazing, and their sides are all house-made. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meat, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip. You won't be sorry. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more information.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
You've been deceived by an agent of Satan himself. He's evil.
Sitting right here. Come on.
No, he's not evil. He's just a bit rude.
98 UPT.
Good morning, everybody. Hello there. Welcome to Wednesday. This is the Morning Sickness. It's 5:45. My name is John Holmberg. There's Brady Bogan, Brett Fesley, Big Dick Toledo in our places, ready to go for what is a perfect morning outside. If you guys are early birds, first off, I don't know how you do it. Second, get outside, do stuff. Holy Moses. Although the mosquito problem is, I am a mosquito magnet. You're olive-skinned. You're probably not.
No, not too bad.
Too oily. They slide off you. You probably.
Not too bad.
No. Boy, I'm terrible. I mean, every
it
night
depends on where you go. If you go walking the dogs near the green belt, it's heavier.
It's wherever they find me. I don't have to leave for them. They find me.
They get in your house.
I don't know.
Feeds on you all night.
I got about 6 bites this morning. I got about 5. Every dusk and dawn, I just get attacked. But that's the only bad part about this whole thing. But it is perfect. It's worth it. Be outside anyway, and you just itch for a little while. Itching feels good. So, get outside, man. It is nice out. It's stupid nice. And it's fall. Today it's fall. Starting
First day.
Like tonight? Yeah, later tonight I think we get fall back, and that's when everybody goes, geez, it's still 100 degrees. Well, it's early fall. It's still tied to summer by a day. Settle down. Fall doesn't really know the calendar we've set up. So I got that together. I'm just thrilled because yesterday the continuing collapse and farce that is Conor McGregor showed itself once again on the mound at Wrigley Field. If you saw his first pitch, we're now in that discussion. It is rivaling the 3 worst first pitches of all time. And 50 Cent, there's that mayor that threw that weird left-handed thing. I think it was in Cincinnati. Like he was a mayor, and he made it the ball went about 6.5 feet and then rolled like 18
straight down
feet
in
left.
A roller.
It didn't even go straight down.
I'm thinking of another one.
Somehow he managed to just kind of launch it down over, but it wasn't down. I don't know how he did it. It fell out of his hand and then rolled away to the plate, but 18 feet to the right of the catcher. And then, of course, Brady's debacle over there. That was play of the game that year against the Marlins when you threw. Conor McGregor.
Was that the Marlins?
Yeah. That's the best thing that happened to you in your worst first pitch ever. And it is in there. Baba Booey from Howard Stern's show also had one of the worst first pitches you could ever watch. But I have to think his was sort of set up. For some reason, I felt like that one was like, go out there and be a jackass on purpose. Brady's got too much pride in that. He was a jackass naturally. It was amazing. Brady's first pitch should be on a loop on our website at all times so people can go back to it. It missed 19 feet over the head catcher. It hit the netting for foul balls. It was
If you would have dropped it
terrible.
down 15 feet, it would have been a strike.
If you'd have dropped it down 15 feet, it would have been a strike if the batter was 19 feet tall. That pitch was 22. It was a pop fly. I don't even know how he did it. It just went way up in the air. But yesterday, Conor McGregor did the exact same thing you did, only left-handed. I mean, he threw an absolute scorching nightmare. It would have missed a right-handed batter but gone over his head and into the net. Almost hit somebody in the front row. It was hilarious.
It reacted like a Super Bowl on that brick wall.
Well, yeah, because I don't know what he was thinking he's never done this before, clearly, and he tried to throw it as hard as he could. I don't know that there's been in this generation of sport a phonier, more contrived character than Conor McGregor. He's the Mike Tyson of our day, and I loved Mike Tyson as a fighter because he was good at crushing mediocre opponents. He made mediocre opponents fall dramatically. He couldn't beat a good fighter, and We bought, $80, pay-per-view at the time when, $80 was like $300 now. And we're watching this guy take care of people in 90 seconds. And then finally he starts to see some real fighters, and he couldn't beat them at all.
Tyson beat the best of the best, John.
He beat nobody. Tyson beat nobody. But then he got mouthy and started to sell fights with, his I'm going to kill you. And the reason we were watching was not for the sport, was to see if Mike Tyson loses his mind and tries to kill someone. The press conferences before where he would bite people, he bit that dude in the leg, and he was losing his mind, biting. He tore a dude's ear off. But I don't think anybody's been more manufactured and sold to us than Conor McGregor, who did have a little run where he was like, all right, he's beaten some people that are pretty talented. He never beat anybody either. And then once real fighters got in the ring with him, he's been on his back screaming, "Your wife's in my DMs," while they cart him out with his sideways leg. I love it. I wonder
he's trying another comeback, right?
Do it all day. He's got his leg getting surgery.
As long as people
he'll fight
will
again because people will pay again because we can't not watch someone mentally break down.
He's a spectacle.
That's
spectacle. All he is.
And that's a good Irish word. He's a spectacle. A spectacle. But I wonder if he was yesterday after that terrible, embarrassing moment in that suit of his, if he was screaming at Clark, the bear for the Cubbies, if he was in the, "Hey, I'm in your wife's DMs." Like, you've embarrassed yourself again, idiot.
Anyone that said anything to him, that was his comeback.
I'm in your wife's DMs. Check him. But he is literally an embarrassment to the sport, which was, and people loved the guy. I've never fallen for that. I after a while, I was kind of like, wait a minute, this guy might be a thing. He beat a couple people. They're like, he's the real deal. And then just got ridiculously
You can definitely have fun with the personality.
Until it's not fun anymore. It's the Tyson.
It's the
Tyson thing
a little bit.
Mike Tyson was a sweet kid with a terrible history. When you watch interviews of Mike Tyson in his career, nice. I just say it for just make sure that the sport is alive, and it was just real, mild mannered. When the jail thing changed him, Robin Givens thing changed him, fame changed him, and then he went bananas, and that's when we got really interested in Mike Tyson. If you remember, Mike Tyson's Buster Douglas fight, there was no interest. The reason that thing is one of the biggest upsets ever, nobody cared.
Yeah, at the time, because they couldn't find anyone to fight him.
Well, there was nobody in his division, but Buster Douglas was like a 38-1 underdog, and then 45, and then they took the betting line off, and it wasn't even televised. It was
Next thing
Tokyo.
you know, he's dotting the I on the Ohio State football game.
That's right. He's out there in Columbus, 550 pounds. 2 days after the fight, somehow, he got fat. But, yeah, he had that was when we got interested again, because that sent him into he just went reeling. We bought a Peter McNeely Mike Tyson fight because Mike Tyson knew how to sell it. It's the biggest scams in sports. They really are.
What was the 92nd one? Was that Larry?
Well, you had the Spinks, Michael Spinks.
Michael
Spinks was 90. Yeah. Marvis Frazier was less than 90.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, Marvis Frazier, I think, went down in 38 seconds. And that was because Joe put his son in the ring and said, this is the next chance. And Marvis clearly didn't want to be there. I'm pretty sure it was Marvis Frazier that got killed by him. That actually might have been Larry Holmes, if I remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember there was times when you're like, oh, this is hard to look at. And,
but I can remember watching fights or getting ready to watch the Tyson fight, and there's times you're like, I want to see this because it's going to be a first-rounder again.
Oh, that's all we watched for. We only watched to see that one-punch power.
The guy just was a man-eater.
But when he got in the ring with a boxer like Lennox Lewis or Evander Holyfield, he was worthless because all they had to do was, weather his storm and learn, can I take this punch? You couldn't stand there and do it like there were guys named Frank Bruno and who were bigger than him and just said, he's not big enough. So I'm going to take his shot. And then you soon learned he had a uppercut that would, take your head off. You can't stand there. Evander just danced around him and worked boxing angles and fought the way a boxer fights. I've often said it, and I truly believe it, that for about a 12-year span, Mike Tyson ruined boxing because it brought on all these 260-pound oafs who were there designed
looking
to take
for the launch, the big
one punch. I throw one punch, I can catch one punch, and that's about it. And then you just saw two giants lumbering around a ring, not doing a thing, waiting for an opening to throw some huge heat. But Mike Tyson's the reason why.
But on the other side, do you think that he brought something else to the sport? As far as it getting popular at that time?
Because
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, he had video games and everything else.
Well, he was a spectacle.
Yeah.
He became a spectacle. And, he was dropping guys and making heavyweights like you didn't think anybody could beat him because when you watch, if you watch some guy just knock Brady cold, like just out cold in one punch, and then he knocks you out cold in one punch, and then me out cold in one punch, and nobody in here can beat him.
Yeah.
And then you see one dude with skill wander over and pepper him a little bit. It's like, oh, he's not as tough as he is just getting the right opponents. But it was impressive. I watched a bunch of those fights. But as time wore on, you realize there were about 12 great fighters, like really polished, good fighters in that time period. Mike dodged all of them.
It's almost, I guess, it's very similar to the home run ball.
It is.
People and, people that are novice on the side of boxing like me.
Yeah. Oh, everybody loves a knockout.
Yeah.
Even
and that was the thing about when you'd watch Mayweather a couple of times.
People
the guy
get bored.
Yep.
And he got boring because he was all defensive, but he was so skilled
fast
in every single way. Defensively, he's the best fighter that's ever been in a ring. But, Mike Tyson was that. I think Conor McGregor is the same for the UFC. I think years will pass, and people will look back and go, how'd we fall for that? I mean, he beat a couple of guys who ended up being good, but at the time where it was early on in their careers. I mean, the Poirier fight the first time was years ago, and he wasn't ready, and Conor kind of was. So it's just these weird moments where I watch this, like we fall for this every 10, 12 years, some loudmouth that comes out and says, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, and then backs it up by beating up tomato cans and then gets knocked around by guys who are truly skilled. And I love watching it. I love watching, and there's the other side, the big mouth getting shut up. I'm watching this Muhammad Ali documentary.
Yeah.
I can't imagine liking Muhammad Ali if I was alive at that time. He was Megan Rapinoe. Everybody hated him. He got booed everywhere he went. It took years of realizing how amazing he actually was in that ring. And then, him.
And why would you want to live talk about being, wanting to be the menace,
right. But
the villain almost.
It took him losing to Joe Frazier and then it would be Ken Norton. Those two guys beating him, making everybody say, oh, okay. He's fallible. And you started to see him as a human being instead of this. Like Megan Rapinoe is the example I use. Nobody likes her. And people are like, oh, it's the same thing. No, it's not. She's begging for money. When you watch what Muhammad Ali did, he begged for like true justice. He gave. Colin Kaepernick did a very similar thing where he just gave up what he did. But the difference between Colin Kaepernick and Muhammad Ali was even when Muhammad Ali wasn't allowed to fight, he was still fighting why he left the sport. Like he was still in public saying, I'm going to change this. This is going to be a different thing. I don't know what Colin Kaepernick did.
We'll take it out of the country.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick, well, that was later.
Yeah.
But Colin Kaepernick was, he just quit. And then you didn't hear much like, I'm an activist. I do this and that. I don't know what he's done since. But yeah, I loved watching. I love watching Conor McGregor fall off the face of the earth.
Well, and the other difference is Kaepernick never quit.
Well, I mean, he's sort of quit.
He's been trying to get back in the game. His allegation is, I've been
blackballed for what he was doing, but he said he was taking a stand, which was admirable. And then you never heard from him again as far as his stance.
He just quit running his mouth as what he did.
He just stopped. He stopped being the activist.
Trying to get tryouts and.
That's fine. He tried to get back into football. That's fine. But I never saw him actually do the work. He said that the whole reason he was out of football, I didn't see Colin Kaepernick doing much after that.
No.
Commercials. I mean, take some money from Nike. But so the activists today are usually the ones saying money. He's not one.
But I think the big reason that Kaepernick, you didn't see him do a lot of the activist stuff or being really loud is because he wanted to get back in, and in order to get back in, you got to lay low.
He did not lay low. Because when he went back in, he had a Kunta Kinte shirt on, and then the other time he had pigs on his socks.
Yeah, he was still playing at that time.
No, he wasn't. Oh, the pigs on his socks he did multiple times, but he knew that was bad. But the Kunta Kinte shirt for the tryout with the team was like an announcement, like, I don't want the job.
Oh, on the big press conference tryout. Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, what are you doing? Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that's the difference. Like, Muhammad Ali became like, oh, this is – like, he's not just dodging the war. He believes what he's saying. Believe it or not. He took a religion that was unpopular, and it's amazing to watch, like, the real thing and then watch this farce of a sale, the shill that's over here in Conor McGregor. I've never liked Conor McGregor, so it's fun to watch, especially on Wrigley Field. The best thing that's happened in Wrigley Field in the last 4 months was Conor McGregor's failure because the Cubs have been doing it every single day since they traded everybody off. Oh, it's terrible.
I'm sure the D-backs had some scouts out there.
Oh, the D-backs, he's the best pitcher on the Diamondbacks. I'll say that. That is, the Diamondbacks probably were like, we can work with this. That ball didn't hit the ground or nobody hit a home run. I mean, the good thing about having Conor McGregor as your ace pitcher, nobody's going to hit it out of the yard. Like the Diamondbacks just keep giving up runs. Are they going to win What are they at, 48 wins?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me
They've
see.
got 11 games left. Are they going to win 50 games? I mean, that's hard to believe.
That's tough.
In a 162-game season, are they going to win 50 games? And they've got 2 to go. Unless they won last night. I didn't see because nobody saw it.
Let's see here.
The producer of the broadcast, Studley, sends me pictures of the crowd sometimes. He goes, here we are. And the roof was open. And I said, I honestly think that if a plane flew over, there'd be more spectators looking down from the plane than actually in the thing. He goes, that's hilarious. Luis Gonzalez just said the same thing. And I'm like, so there's maybe 200 people in the building? It was right before the game. So he said, maybe.
They lost last night 6-1.
So will they win 50 games? I think they've got 48 wins.
I think they will.
Yeah, they
11,
will.
You go
will.
2-9 to finish?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll go 50.
I think 51 is the under-over. I'm betting FanDuel. I'm getting on you now. 51 would be.
Can we do that?
I would go under. I say I say 50's their mark.
I'll say they'll hit 50. I don't think they're going to do much. And they're tied with the Orioles now for the worst. Orioles came out of the chute just terrible.
They wanted to be
now
bad.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
Now they're fighting for that first-round draft
pick. It all
pick.
depends on the last 2 series or the last 3.
Well, they got the Giants and then the Rockies, I think, right?
So
the
that
Padres
one is
maybe that's true. Padres crap the bed.
those last 2 are pretty much out.
That's talk about a farce. I appreciate that because they're not mouthy. At least
they know what they are.
Yeah, they know
like,
exactly.
right.
They kept it quiet.
Sorry,
They went very quiet. They were quietly into the entire year. In fact, they were thrilled for a little while that the Suns took up most of the summer, so you didn't see the catastrophe going on next door.
Yeah, Giants and Rockies are last series.
Yeah. So, will the Giants have to play?
Oh, they got to play the
on
Dodgers in there too.
Yeah, they're done. They're
Atlanta Dodgers.
Oh, they're done.
Giants and
the Rockies are the only team that isn't trying. Yeah, they're done. If they win two games out of that, miracle wins. You know what's probably going to happen? It's going to be a game clincher where if the Giants lose, the Dodgers get the division. But it's like they're playing the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
4 games left. And the Diamondbacks will, 3-2 them and have that celebration moment where they knocked a team in their own division off the perch. But those 2 teams are going to the playoffs. They don't care. It's just who wins the division. They're 100-win teams. The Diamondbacks, maybe half that. Oh, what a terrible nightmare. Terrible. And then, speaking of terrible sports in the town, Coyotes. Come on. Did you see their $1.3 billion presentation?
It's
gorgeous.
It
looks great.
Is gorgeous. Stop that. We've got an idea that we have you guys help us spend $1.3 billion to have the Coyotes down here in Tempe. What say you?
What kind of juice are they
yourself.
looking from us?
Well, it would be, I don't know if it would be state or city, if it would be Tempe.
It would have to be the city.
I don't. It's
part of it.
ridiculous to throw out the $1 billion proposal. That would be the most expensive sports venue in the city, even more than the cost to build the Cardinals facility. But they're like, well, we build a shopping center and a mall and a big and they'll right there. I'm like, hey, you realize that you got that now, and they kicked you out. So it's you. You're the problem. Don't go begging for money right now. I love that the Coyotes are here, and it would be a great location for them. But come on. Keep it. This is like when you take a 16-year-old out to look for a car, and they're like, you got $3,000. Maybe. He doesn't know that. And he's looking at Porsches and Mercedes.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, over here, kid. You're in the used car section. You're going to be playing at Oceanside next to Big Surf for a year and prove that you can win a game.
That's where they're going to be at this point.
Yeah,
they don't have anywhere to play next season.
Well, it's after this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they will. There'll be another city that grabs them. But if $1 billion, calm down. We can put something together reasonable for about $300,000 for you guys. I think we can put you in a backyard,
inflatable dome indoor.
Oh yeah, put them like the Phoenix Rising thing, something you can build out of storage boxes in Target. I'm a fan of having hockey in town, but I said it about the Suns when they started saying we need this, and this. Like, see ya, get out. No other business gets away with that. You can get a tax break from the city. Don't start begging us to pay for your building. Those days have to be over. When Greyhound Dial wanted to build a building, they didn't go, all right, citizens, how great is it that we'd be in your city, huh? Why don't you put up a 25-story building for us? You have to do it yourself. You have to fund that yourself. Hubbard Radio didn't ask for you guys to build this.
It was work with us on a lease deal or a build thing. Some of the stadiums back in the day would like give us a break on the lease.
That's just garbage money shifting.
Yep.
Pay for your own. Pay for your own stadium and make a deal with Glendale again to say, hey, we need this one. And bow down. Glendale doesn't even want them. Like, you got to get out of here. We could fill this arena with better shows than your hockey every night. They're willing to say, take your 42 guaranteed nights of failure out. We're going to go ahead and put in like the Wiggles 10 more times, and we'll make more money doing that. Yeah, that $1 billion project over there. It's in a great spot, though. Rio Salado and Priest, where the original football stadium was going to go until
that was
the mob got involved.
Pattern.
Yeah, that was 9/11. It was. 9/11 stopped that. That and Phoenix saying, hey, Tempe can't have all that money.
They should have just put it at Los Arcos where they were supposed to go to begin
that
with.
Would
have been perfect.
Been fine.
They'd have been good, too, because people would have gone and,
A lot of palms greased on that one.
Loads of them. And stupid Mary Man Russ. Yeah, we've got some sports history in this town that's not good. But the Diamondbacks,
or lack thereof.
This might be the worst. This might be the worst sports thing we've ever had. Of all the bad, this Diamondbacks team might be the worst thing we've ever fielded. And that's with the Cardinals having all of those 3-1 and 3-win seasons, and Diamondbacks have been bad before, but not like this.
We never had any Suns seasons that bad, have we?
Oh yeah, that's why they have DeAndre Ayton. Is because they were the number 1 overall pick. They had like 20 wins. They were bad. I don't know that this bad. I don't know. When you're the number 1 overall pick, you're terrible. The Suns were rivaling as the worst thing that's ever happened, but that's kind of erased right now. We're all in that afterglow of the sex that got awkward at the end.
How soon we forget.
Yeah, the good thing is Conor McGregor still sucks. And that was the whole point of this story. And I have friends I argue with about this all the time. I had a buddy of mine who, just a big Conor McGregor fan, and finally after his last fight, he's like, all right, dude, you've been right the whole time. This guy's a dick. Because he's just an idiot. I love watching it. And the next thing out of people's mouths who love Conor McGregor will be, kick your ass. That's when you know your guy's no good. When he can beat up a dude going in for hip replacement on Friday. And that's okay.
Below average.
You think he can beat me up? All right. Jeez, I would hope that wouldn't even be in your head, that's a potential battle.
You wouldn't say that to his face.
I probably would. But, maybe I would. No, you're probably right. I'd tell him I thought you were a farce. I'd kick your ass. Well, that's illegal. That's a street fight. You're not supposed to just beat people up. Be a grown-up. He isn't. And he can't throw a baseball. And I've always stood by that. No offense, Brady, but if a man can't pick up a ball and throw it 60 feet one time, something's wrong with his testicles. If you make a mistake of a 60, Brady had a rough go with his nuts at that point. I don't know what was happening. Maybe he had a kidney stone, but you shouldn't have to warm up.
It wasn't lack of throwing.
You warmed up and stuff, and you've thrown a ton.
I didn't warm up.
You shouldn't.
It's
a single pitch. Yeah. You're not getting clocked.
But I threw like 3 the day before. I'm just saying how's the throwing.
Right. And
the release wasn't as late as the opening.
As early as the one you had. It was high. Just a bit high. Second deck high. And let's get a wake-up song and start this glorious day of standing outside. Man, I wish we were doing the show at Brady's driveway to watch trash trucks go
Monday.
by. It's perfect.
We're doing it Monday.
It is glorious out there. Give us a wake-up song, and we'll scream it together. 585-9800. It's 98 KUPD. Wake up!
98.
What?
98.
No way.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.